Hello everybody and welcome back. This is a very different video this time. Instead of being in front of my hobby table, I'm in front of my computer. Um, and it is hobby related. I wanted to show those who are interested in a game system that I fell across last week and I've fallen in love with. And that is Broadside Empires of Steel. Now, I knew nothing about this game. I'm sure a lot of people didn't. It doesn't seem to have a humongous following, but I was just happening to, peruse the internet, and I came across this game just by happenstance. I didn't even realize what I was looking at. I actually came across this one here, the follow-up game or expansion to the game, Broadside Empires of Steel 3 Crowns Digital Edition. This is what I came across here. And it was a Kickstarter. I think both of them were Kickstarter. It ended, I think, in February of this year, 2021. And as soon as I scrolled down and I seen this picture here with the Italian battleships, or Dreadnought and the pre-Dreadnought here, I thought, what's this all about? And I looked down and I seen, like, oh, the fleet book? This is all World War One fleet action game? You know, how do I get in on this? How do I find out more about this game? So I Googled around. I called my wife at work and I said, hey, I found something online I really was interested in. I found this out at work, by the way, so I couldn't really search into it a great deal. I didn't have a lot of time, but she did a lot of the research for me. She knows that one of my passions is World War One dreadnoughts and pre-dreadnoughts, naval gaming, and I just came across this page for this Three Crowns edition. I'm like, this looks amazing. I want this. The Lord Nelson, the Duke of Edinburgh here. You got the Radetzky, the Prince Eugen, the Tetekohoff. It just hit me to my core. And I don't know if a lot of you guys like naval wargaming or World War One naval wargaming, but I do. I love it. And this was just something that I felt like I needed. I needed this in such a way that I scoured the internet when I got home for any information. And that's when I came across the original Kickstarter back, I think, last October, for the original game. And then my excitement just exploded because this original game was about essentially Jutland, the British and the German with some Americans, and it was an STL. These ships are all STL files, or STL, I guess. There's no physical ships. You have to print everything off if you have a printer. And the Kickstarter is essentially for the files. And, scroll down here and look at the USS New York. Like, what a beautiful looking ship that is. You can, because it's STL, you can kind of scale it to whatever you want. So although there is certain scales that it comes with, you can make it whatever you want. And I needed it. I had to have it. And although I do have a 3D printer, sorry for the scrolling speed there. Although I do have a 3D printer, it doesn't always work. There's a lot of technical things I need to know. I'm not a professional. I'm a full-time dad, full-time worker. My hobby time is painting. I don't really have a lot of time to learn 3D printing to a certain degree, but I do have one, and I have managed to scrape out a few prints. So in the we're just looking at the Board Game Geek page for this game, and I do have a 3D printer, and I took the day off work on Friday because I was so excited. I found it on Thursday, and when I got home, my wife surprised me with both Kickstarters in digital file edition. She handed me a USB stick with all the files on it, the ships, the cards, the rule book, and it drove me crazy. I was so excited I had to take the next day off work. So I took the Friday off work, and since then, my printer has been going 24/7 for 3 days. And it's been such a pick-me-up. I've managed to print off about 50 ships, and we'll get into them. This first video is more about broadcasting this game to others. Now, a lot of the information for this game is on Facebook, and I don't have my Facebook account on my computer, although I could get it. I just can't remember the password to get in, but there is videos there. I urge you, if you're into naval wargaming at all and into World War One ships, check this out. Broadside Empires of Steel. we'll just take a quick look, if you don't mind, if you can just bear with me for this opening video. I have a whole series planned for this game, going through my hobby with this game. The printing process of it, the checking out the stat cards for the ships. So if I can scroll down here, maybe it'll show me a stat card, or is that on this one here? So this is not really a stat card, but this is the fleet book. It comes with like a, oh, sorry about that. It comes with a sort of like a fleet army list book. So you can have a battle squadron. You have to have one flagship, and you can have up to 3 battleships in that squadron. Then you have to have one screening squadron. So you can have an armored cruiser, but you have to have at least one if you do. I mean, it's very, I wouldn't want to say 40K in its style, but it reminds me a lot of the Flames of War style of army lists. And just while we have a minute here, I would like just to go through some of the ships. So you can tell probably I'm excited. I'm scrolling through this stuff very fast, but look it up for yourself. That way you have all the time you need. Just take a couple look at these pictures of these ships. I mean, the Lion, the Tiger, the Agincourt, the Indomitable. Beautiful. These things are beautiful. So if you don't have a 3D printer, and because I wasn't very good at 3D printing, I physically went on eBay, and there was a licensed eBay seller who sold starter packs, and I bought whatever he had available. So not only do I have the files, which my wife got me later on, but I also on my own bought the starter packs from the eBay seller, and they should be in a little while. I'll show those off when I get them. But I mean, it looks amazing. These ships look amazing, and because you can scale it any way you want, I took a look at the rules. I watched their battle report on their Facebook page, and it's right up my alley. So check it out. But here, let's just take a look at the ships. Now here's all the ships for the Royal Navy. Hopefully we can see this on my. This is the first time I've done Bandicam, but if I go here, this is what we got. We got the original Broadside and the Broadside 3 Crowns. If I go on original, you get the rules, the cards, you get the ships. You get the civilian ships, the German ships, the Royal Navy, and the 3D printing. And then you get like a bunch of templates and tokens. But if we go on the Royal Navy here, we'll click on the Iron Duke, and we'll look at all the options you get. You get the easy print version. If you have an FDM printer, you get a standard version that has no turrets on it. You get the one with the turrets. And then you get all kinds of like options for printing the turrets different ways. So if I go into the turrets included mod, here is the Iron Duke. Now I hope this is coming across. I mean, the detail on that is really crisp, really crisp. One of my favorite ships, probably the quintessential Dreadnought of World War I, that classic design. That's the Iron Duke. Let's take a look at something else. Now, I won't go into every ship. There is so many ships in this Kickstarter. It blows my mind. Let's go into the Lion. We'll go into the model with the turrets. The big cat. Or what, the magnificent cats? Can't remember what they were called, but that's the Lion. Let's again get a bit closer. I mean, I've printed them out, and I will show them off in another video. This is just an introduction, but I've printed them off, and they look really, really good. And I'm garbage at printing off stuff. Let's look at the Revenge, the turrets. What more do you want? I mean, if you're buying ships from Warlord Games, there'd be just as detailed. Like, there wouldn't be any difference. And for me, this cost me $111 dollary dues, as the communication came across. That's Aussie dollars, I guess. That's what they call them, dollary dues. Cost me $111. The other day, or I guess 2 weeks ago, I bought 2 ships from Warlord Games for Victory at Sea, and they cost $40 each. So that was $80. Let's go into something a little smaller. We'll go into the Warrior, HMS Warrior. Although it's not that much smaller, but it's, an armored cruiser. Look at all those guns. It's the work that's been put into this Kickstarter and these files is, you can tell it. There's a labor of love here. We can go into the Agincourt, the Gin Palace. Let's see, turrets included. Look at this behemoth. You know, and I've printed them out, and even these little gaps here, they print out fine. Now, I did find that printing them with the turrets on, the turrets did not print properly, so I had to print mine off with the turrets off. But I mean, that's a beautiful model. Let's look at some of the German ships. We'll go into the Derflinge. Let's see here, turrets included. These are big ships. Like it's hard to describe when you see them together later on. And I put them together. The German and British battlecruisers are huge ships. Now, I haven't made too many videos on my computer, so my excitement might be getting the better of me, and I might be scrolling in and out, and it might be hard to focus for you guys. I'm really sorry about that, but this is where we're at. Let's do the Kaiser next. You know, look at that profile. Really nice. You know, there's not an amazing amount of detail, but there is a fantastic amount of detail for the ship size. And that's just to make it easier to 3D print, I think. I mean, you can buy models from GHQ, which is where I got all my first ships from. They're the best on the market as far as models go. But they're metal, and getting the masts straight, and, you know, this is a gaming piece. And for a gaming piece, this is fantastic. GHQ also, in Canadian dollars, it's about $22, $23 Canadian. Now, for $110 that I bought these from, I got like 50 or 60 ships. I can't even count how many. But although I have to print it myself, I can only get 4 ships from the GHQ compared to all these. Let's look at the Scharnhorst. It's a very famous ship. The battlecruiser Scharnhorst and the Gneisenau. Excuse me. I mean, there's nothing wrong. Each of the ships looks totally, like, not totally different, but each of the ships look different enough where you can recognize them. Now, for those of you who know your ships inside and out, I thought I did, but when I was 3D printing these, I was printing so many. Like, I printed off 50 ships in the last 48 hours. And I have now become somewhat of an expert in figuring out which ship is which based on the silhouette. So here's the Mokte, another battle cruiser. Sorry for I'm trying to make this as detailed as possible, but just to show you, like, I'm blown away. I'm literally blown away. It's just insane. If you guys have any interest in this at all, I urge you to check this out. Let's look at a tiny torpedo boat. I mean, even the tiny torpedo boats, I mean, there's enough detail there for me. You know, I'm not a great painter anyway, but I can make that look fairly decent. So that's just the Germans. Like, we even have the US here. And let's see, the New York is one of the ones that I'm interested in the most. Here's the New York. I won't go to every ship because it would take forever. Let's see here. I mean, that's an interesting way of getting a 3D printer to print out their unique looking tripods. I never even knew there was guns on top of these things here. That's insane. Now, what else we have? Let's do something a little bit more interesting. Not that they're not interesting. Let's do this. You even get the Lusitania. And I believe it's used in one of the scenarios. And just to make it easy for you, it doesn't really matter what kind of 3D printer you have, because they divide up the bigger ships into several or a couple of pieces. So here's the Lusitania, put out the rear end. We'll go into the 3 crowns. Let's see, ships, you get some Austro-Hungarians, you get some more Germans, the Italians, you get some more from the United Kingdom and the United States. So Austro-Hungary, you get, look at what you get. You get the Herzog Karl, the Hussar, that's the destroyer, the Monarch, the Novara, the Radetzky, the Admiral Spun, the Kaiser Karl, the Stank George, whatever that is. Let's just click on that because I've never even heard of that one. Looks like a pre-Dreadnought. Look at that. That is so cool. You have the chains at the front there. That is so cool. You can even have your what if pre-Dreadnought battles. The Radetzky is a really cool ship. Let's take a look at that. Yeah, look at that. Oh, God. So good. I cannot wait to print that one off. You even got the little gaps in there. Oh. And then we'll look at the Tetekahoff, or the Svent Estevan, whatever. A really sleek looking ship. And I didn't even realize it, but it's actually fairly small for Dreadnoughts. With its unique triple turrets. Really, really cool. We got the Italians. Let's go back there. The Italians have some really cool looking ships. I'm not going to even try and pronounce that. The Conte de Cavour. Look at that. That's so cool. Let's look at the other one. There's the Dante Alighieri. Butchered that one. Oh, it's got a cool layout of turrets. Center line. 12 turrets, or 12 guns. Really cool. Now, we haven't looked at too many cruisers, so let's take a look at a cruiser here. We'll look at some of the German cruisers. We get the Wiesbaden. You know, even the cruisers detailed enough for me, man. That's amazing. Okay, well, I don't want this video to go on all day, and I could talk about this all day. You have no idea how hard it is for me not to do this. Let's take a look at one more. Let's take a look at the Lord Nelson. I love my pre-Dreadnoughts. Yeah, look at that. That's cool. Look at all the guns on that. And it prints out. It prints out fine. Sometimes I need to get my settings right to get the gun barrels to print off properly, but I print the ship off this way here. Let's see, the standard model, I print it off this way here. So you can see the turrets are missing. And I print off the turrets separately, and I angle them at 90 degrees, so they print off really nice. I just glue them on. But then you have the easy print version. This is for FDM. So this is the same model, but without any of that weird stuff sticking out of it. You know, it doesn't look as good, but it looks perfectly fine. If you have an FDM printer, this is still worth your money. It's still worth the money. So, you know, I mean, they provide you with it all. I mean, it's just amazing. It's just amazing. And then, just one more thing. Now that we've shown off the models a bit, we'll just go to the ship cards. And this is one of the things I love the most about this. Look at the ship cards here. This is how you play the game. Now, I'm in the process of printing all these out and laminating them and making them look good, and I'll show them all off. But essentially what you have is the Tetekahoff, you know, Dreadnought battleship. You have the what's that, rated speed, so 5, so it might be 5 inches. Acceleration 1, I mean, that might be, not exactly sure just yet. Turn angle is 15. Maybe it has to go 1 inch forward before it can turn 15 degrees. It's a large target, 6+ invasion, 1+ protection. I think that's the armor. It's got 8 hull points. Primary, forward, it's got 6. So I guess maybe that might be 6 times forward, 12 to the side, 6 to the aft. Firepower 3+. Range band is 12 inches, so it's 12 inches at 12 dice at 12 inches. And then it's got some torpedoes there, which I'm not exactly sure how to decipher yet. But I mean, here you have them: the Tetekahoff, the Verbitus Unitas, the Prince Eugen, the Svent Estevan, the Radetzky, Herzog Franz Ferdinand, the Zerini, Herzog Karl, Herzog Frederick. I mean, I don't want to. I'm just going to close that. I don't want to give away all their stuff, but what I would recommend, highly recommend, is check this out. It is just so cool. Let's just take a look at the pictures of the stuff painted again. The HMS Canada. Do yourselves a favor. Check the game out. My wife bought them. Bought it for me. She had nothing but amazing things to say about the two people that she dealt with. And she said they were nothing but professionals. Even though the Kickstarter is over, you can still contact them via their Facebook page and, you know, buy it from them that way. That's how I got it. And if this is your thing, I promise you will not regret it. Okay, well, thanks for listening, and we'll be in touch soon. The next video I'll show you will be on from my painting desk again, and it'll be my hobby update, what I got done this week, and then the one after that will be the printing of these, how I fared printing these guys out. And I have some interesting stuff to show you then. Okay, thanks, bye-bye.